Alrighty, back out here at the Maple Woods. Out here by my tank. We last night I didn't film any of it, but I took the tank back to the house, washed it all out with some hot water, make sure it was real nice and clean because the sap actually started running last night. As of filming this, it's the 25th of February, Tuesday, and we tapped on Sunday. So I wasn't expecting to get any runs this week. I knew it was gonna be warmer, but I thought with all the snow on the ground and the frost, it wouldn't run. But it ended up opening up last night. So I washed the tank, got it all ready. So now it's parked here, and the sap's running into it. So I'll show you what we got going on. So I'm trying to learn this whole YouTube thing, and I'm learning that you got to have your camera horizontal, where I had it all vertical before, which I just recorded a whole couple clips in all vertical. So now I got to retake them. But here we are at the tank. So you can see it flowing through there, and then it's down in there. You can kind of see the sap down in there. Now, we don't have much sap down in there. It's run a little bit overnight, but it's not, running hard, so I didn't expect there to be much. But on this Sunday, so the 23rd, so I said in that video that it was going to be a week and a half till we got a running boiling. But obviously, I was wrong because it's running right now. But this main line that's running into that tank is 3/16. And people sometimes ask what the difference is between 3/16 line and 5/16. So I'll show you that right up here. We have a drop. Our drops are all 3/16, and then the lines, drops 5/16, lines 3/16. So right here you can kind of see it. This is the 5/16. It's bigger than that line, and people don't know why that is. Well, that's actually because the 3/16 line will pull a natural vacuum. So if you have 14 feet of drop from your top tap down to your tank, it'll pull that natural vacuum, where the 5/16 won't ever do that because it's too big. So people then wonder, why do you use 5/16 for drops and 3/16 for mainline? Why don't you just use 3/16 for everything? Well, last year I did use 3/16 for everything, but what we found out was at nighttime, when the sap flows back down into the trees, the tree actually sucks that sap back out of the line. So having it all 3/16, the trees were actually sucking all the sap, sucking my line right dry. So in the morning, I had to let that whole line fill back up. Now, after changing all this year, I got to thinking, and I'm thinking I may have hurt myself because we're on a west-facing slope here. So the sun sets over there, rises on the other side of this big mountain. And so a night that it freezes, this line's gonna be full of ice now that we have no sap getting sucked out. The line's gonna be right full of ice, and then now you have to wait for that to thaw before it'll run. Where last year, it would start running, it didn't have to thaw out. So, we'll see if that ends up hurting us or helping us, what I did. But putting that 5/16 in created that negative pressure between the drop and the tree, so it can't ever suck the sap back in. But we're gonna see here if we got enough sap later tonight to boil or not. If we do, we will be boiling. But if not, then we'll wait a couple more days. Very hopeful that we're going to have enough sap to boil tonight and maybe just fire up the evaporator. So whenever that time comes, we will we'll bring you guys along and show you how we start that season. Another day back at it. It's Wednesday now. We didn't end up getting enough last night to start a boil. So I ended up actually being kind of worried that my tank was going to be leaking. So I went and got that, brought it down to the house, drained the sap out of it in my other tank that has the roof on it, filled the tank with 20, 30 gallons of water, and then let it sit for a couple hours to see if it was going to leak. My tank's sitting down there now, empty. Just getting ready to go collect it probably later tonight, maybe tomorrow. But so today I got to run down to Mill Creek Maple in Edmundston, and I got to grab some supplies. And then I gotta tap some roadside trees on my way to school. It's only 37 degrees right now, but the sap is running and it's sunny out. So I'm gonna try to get those trees tapped pretty quick here, so that way I catch some of that run today and possibly have enough to boil tonight. But if not, we'll definitely be boiling tomorrow, just so that way the sap doesn't sit all weekend while it's not running. But yeah, so let's head to Mill Creek. back from Mill Creek. So now I'm getting ready to do some roadside trees. So I got my sap hanger and some new bags. So these, you take this little ring, put it through the ring, and fold it around the lip. Like that. And then this bag, once you get that bag on there, that little ring slides right in there. Slides right in there. And the tap goes in this hole, with these taps. They go in that hole and it hangs on the tree, and that's it. So I'm gonna get 5 of these ready, and we'll go tap some trees. So I haven't really used these bags all that much. So I was just kind of struggling. I used them in high school a little bit, but that was a couple of years ago, and I never really knew what I was doing. So I found a new strategy that works a lot better. Hold the bag over the same way as before. But then, you get that kind of over that, and then instead of sliding it, you just kind of compress the ring here. Hard to show. You just kind of compress the ring and make it more of an oval, and it slides right in. And it clips in there. And you pull it tight, and it creates a much better seal around the outside and everything. A lot easier, creates a better seal, works a lot nicer. I'll give you a little better look. These are the taps. So this goes in the tree, and this is where the sap comes out. There's a little channel there. But this hook is what this bag hooks onto. So it goes in there, the bag hangs, and then hangs on that hook. That's the thought. The one problem with these bags is people tend to find that they try to fall off. So we're gonna hope that they don't do that. But if they do, I'll have to figure out something, some type of weight or something. I've been thinking about it. Maybe trying to create like a weight system. So it kind of weighs down the bag to hold onto that hook, but I'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But yeah, let's go tap. So it's pretty tricky for me to film and do it, but I'll kind of try to show you. So I'm gonna pick this spot right here. I've scanned, I don't see any tap holes within it, within 6 inches this way, or anything straight up and down. So I'm just gonna drill the hole all the way in, and then out, straight out, in, and out. Now, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the sap is coming right out of that hole. It's starting to fill up inside that hole and kind of drip out a little bit, not a ton. Now you can see in that hole I got some debris. I'm actually gonna take this little stick that I got here. I'm gonna use that to fish in the hole and try to pull out some of that debris. So now it's a lot more clean in that hole. So now, it's gonna be tricky for me to do it by my one hand. But I'm gonna put this tree, this tap, start it right in there. And then now these ones I found only change tone like the other ones, but I got this hammer here. So I'm gonna use that to break some of this bark off to make room for the bag to hang on there. But these ones don't really change the tone when you hit it like the other taps do. You just kind of go in until you think it's good enough, but then it makes it tight enough so that bag can clip over that and hang right on there. Then it'll drip right in. So obviously nothing's dripping right yet. We can go check the other ones that I did and see if any of those ones are dripping. So we'll go check. So you see, my camera will focus, that tap right there is dripping. So this bag's starting to fill up. Now this bag is supposed to hold like 3 to 4 gallons. So that's pretty good. That's a good run right there. So see how, pretty interesting. That side of the tree is doing that, and this side of the tree isn't even dripping. Pretty interesting how that works. But this side's flowing good. So I knew that these were gonna start running because my ones up on the hill were running pretty good. So that's why I wanted to get down here midday and tap these. So that way if they were gonna be running today, I'd catch it. So that one is barely running here. It's dripping a little bit there. But again, nothing on this side of the tree. Interesting. I got one more over there, so we'll go check that one. We'll check, see what this one's doing. See if it's dripping at all. Nothing on that one either. So it's just weird. 2 out of 5 taps are dripping, and the other 3 aren't. Same spot, all within 40 feet of each other, but some run, some don't. Very interesting process. All right, I'm at one last spot. We're gonna put in 4 taps here on 2 trees, and then we'll be done for today. Maybe taps more later tonight, but that's it for right now. Some people think 2 taps in a tree is too much, but it's not. Depending on the size of the tree, you can see these are some pretty good sized trees, and that one over there too. And I talked to the homeowner and I asked if it'd be okay if I used 2 taps per tree, and they were totally fine with it. The rule is if you can put your hands around the tree and you can't touch your hands when you try to hug the tree, and your hands can't touch, you can put at least 2 on it. And I can't even get halfway around the tree on my hands on these ones, so these will not get hurt by the amount of taps. So the one thing I'm worried about with these trees, and I don't can tell on camera, but you can see what the problem is in the bag. A little bit of wind here. There's not as much wind on those 2, but a lot of wind here. So what I did was I actually put the tap in a little farther than most of them. So it's got a little resistance against the tree, kind of hold it. Might actually hold the holder on there, because I don't want these to blow off. That's what I'm worried about. But as you can see in there, this tree is running. So hopefully this bag starts filling up, gets a little weight in it, and then we'll hold it down, because if it blows off, that would not be good. But I think this one's running as well. Yep, this one's running as well. Other tree I don't think is running, but yeah, that's gonna conclude the midday tapping. So now I gotta go off to college, but yeah. So we'll check back up on these taps. All right, we're here, finally boiling. So far, it's just me here tonight. No one else is here so far. Eli had the CDL training tonight, so he's on his way. Colin had to go to dinner quick, so then he's on his way. And a couple other friends are coming over tonight, by the sounds of it. But as you can see, we finally got our first steam rolling for the year, so we're all super excited. And when they get here, they'll be wicked excited. So it's a good night. We had roughly 18 to 20 gallons, somewhere in there, after gathering the big tank and all the trees on the side of the road. Those trees on the side of the road were only there for half a day, so I didn't expect much out of them because they didn't have much. Maybe got a gallon in total, maybe a gallon and a half on all those 14 taps. But so in total, pretty good day. Sap is only 1% sugar, so that's pretty low. But it's what you expect in the first run. It'll get better through time. But I will show you what we got over here. So you can see it's finally starting to come to a boil. I still can't trust this thermometer. If you've seen the past videos, we said it's broken. It's reading 160 right now and starting to boil, so I can't trust that. We don't have anything going on in the back pan yet, but that always comes a little later. But it's steaming, so it's getting there. And then I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but you can see it. The sap level's right there. So that's how much sap is in that. That's what I built that, so that way that's a sight gauge. So I can control that, can shut it off so it doesn't fill the sight gauge, and then when it starts boiling that down, I'll open that black valve right there. I'll open that valve, and it will start to trickle into the evaporator. So eventually tonight we'll get there, but we're just not there quite yet. I got the floor cleaned. That was my first thing I wanted to do. Organized a little bit. I brought in a lot more wood. So I got those 2 that are going to go in next, but that pile of wood's drying out. We got a lot of wood here, but it's all pretty wet stuff. So that shed over there is full of wood, and that pile, but obviously that pile back there is covered in snow. So All right.
There, boys.
We're boiling. So we got a good boil going in the front. Got our slow trickle into the back. We're getting down on our sap a little bit. Not really. But we got our pile of wood brought in. You excited?
Yep.
Good. But I think we're going to call it for the video tonight. But we'll keep boiling.
Cheers, boys.
We'll see you next time.